A team of volunteer archaeologists is digging at a ruined Roman settlement in the UK, excavating around an ancient latrine. The Old English phrase, "where there's muck, there's brass," refers to money or archaeological riches, and the latrine itself is located within a castrum or fortified settlement in the Roman province of Britannia, known as Vindolanda. Hello viewers, welcome to our channel. In this video, we will talk about the treasure that researchers have recently found in a Roman toilet. But before we start, make sure to subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon for regular updates. Let's get started. The fort guarded Hadrian's Wall, which spanned east-west across the region, and the artifacts recovered from its excavation promised to provide new insights into Roman troops' leisure activities. Professor Eric Burley, who founded Durham University's Department of Archaeology, investigated the site in the 1930s and passed on to his children, Anthony and Robin. The Vindolanda Charitable Trust coordinates subsequent digs with hundreds of volunteers. Vindolanda became a popular tourist attraction after the 1970 bathhouse snow excavation. The site of Vindolanda was home to a garrison of infantry and cavalry units known as the Cohors Quarter Gallerium Equitata, or fourth-part mounted cohort of gulls. In 2006, archaeologists discovered an inscription at the site that suggested a more complex social arrangement. The first structures at Vindolanda were rudimentary fortifications hewn from mud and wood, and initially created in 85 AD. By the end of the 1st century, a 1,000-strong cavalry and infantry battalion, known as the 9th Cohort of Batavians, had constructed a bigger fort. A stone castle was constructed in the area in the early 3rd century, but was torn down and replaced by military quarters following the emperor's death. The Vindolanda tablets, found in the 1970s, are Britain's oldest known examples of handwriting and contain ink details of army dispatches and private correspondence. Vindolanda is home to a number of notable relics, including a cache of 400 items of footwear, a 3rd century female child skeleton, a wooden toilet seat, the world's oldest leather boxing gloves, and a hand sculpture from the sex ceremonial item. In 2018, archaeologists unearthed a silver duck brooch, a hand sculpture, and a hairy dog's remains in a ditch pre-Hadrian's Wall. Anne Burley has shown that even at Vindolanda, the remnants are exceptional, and this relic shows what might survive from the site's deepest ditches. The 2019 dig around the toilet drain of the Vindolanda bathhouse yielded pieces of precious carnelian and red jasper images of Roman gods and goddesses, as well as a cracked board game known as Ludus Latringularum. Burley explained that the stones had likely fallen down the toilet by accident, and that the glue that secured them in rings had a nasty habit of failing. Archaeologists know the layout and components of the game, which featured military overtones and may have involved wagers. The game was first mentioned around the 2nd century BC. Ludus Latringularum is a complex form of checkers that was popular in the 1st century AD. It involves players moving back and forth on the board while trying to take pieces from their opponent. It was found in Vindolanda's citadel, sleeping quarters, and commander's dwelling, confirming its broad appeal. Archaeologist Richard Burley plans to continue digging up boards and hopes to retire with a piece of land in North Africa. A team of researchers tested DNA taken from old skeletons in Italy and made some surprising discoveries about the ancient Romans. The DNA revealed that Remus and Romulus, fathered by Mars, founded Rome, and that the god of war washed up on the shores of the Tiber approximately 3,000 years ago. The DNA also revealed that villagers from the ancient Italian area of Latium banded together to form the eventual city-state of Rome in 625 BC to ward off nearby enemies. This new look at the ancient Romans was led by Jonathan Pritchard, a professor of biology and genetics at Stanford University. Rome's history began with its period of kings from its foundation until 510 BC, when the city's social elite established a new style of leadership. Julius Caesar rose to power and conquered Carthage and Corinth, giving the Roman Empire a naval foothold. Gaius Julius Caesar Octavianus became Rome's first emperor, and the city's imperial period lasted from Octavian's installation until the empire's fall in 471. During its final stretch, Rome saw its greatest period of prosperity, peaking around AD 171. The Roman Empire was divided into eastern and western halves, with the eastern half facing invasions from the Goths and the Vandals. It would take until the 15th century for the Byzantine Empire to fall, and the Turks won the capital city of the empire, Constantinople. The Romans had a major influence on modern culture, such as building the Colosseum and implementing a roadway system to connect their vast territory. Roman literature inspired future greats, and Spanish, Italian, Romanian, and French have their roots in ancient Roman Latin. However, genetic information for the people who once populated Rome is still lacking. A study published in November 2019 found that Roman populations often mirrored the city's highs and lows, as Rome experienced two major migrations during which people moved to the Eternal City. Pritchard and his Stanford team joined forces with Sapiens at the University of Arizona's Alfredo Kappa and Ron Pinhosa, University of Vienna Evolutionary Anthropology Associate Professors, to gather 127 samples of human DNA from 29 sites in Rome. The DNA showed that a number of farmers moved to Rome in about 6000 BC, and Ukrainian people had begun to flood into the city between 5,000 and 3,000 years ago. This confirmed that Rome had a diverse population long before its official founding in 753 BC, and that by the time Rome became a city, it had a population as diverse as modern Mediterraneans and Europeans. The lack of European and African DNA in ancient Rome is explained by the fact that these areas probably had less concentrated populations than those in the Near East and Eastern Mediterranean. Diseases and outsiders wreaked havoc on Rome, shifting the population's genetic code away from the Eastern Mediterranean and into Western Europe. The Holy Roman Empire split Central and Northern Europe, but much of the Rome that remained today had been there centuries ago. This study seeks to expand DNA's geographic span and clarify how ancient DNA sequencing may help researchers understand how prevalent present features like height, illness resistance, and lactose tolerance have evolved. That's it for today. What do you think about this discovery? Tell us in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to share and press the bell icon for more regular updates.